Hello YouTube fans, Rans here, and welcome to a deck profile with Rank 4 Spam featuring Treatoad. So this is the deck I played on stream yesterday, well 2 days ago actually, and I really enjoyed it. It was really nice to play a shark-like deck, because shark decks were something I really wanted to play on the channel, but we never got something good for the deck essentially. Silent Angler's great support, but that's about it to be fair. But now we have Treatoad, we can easily bring it out with Bahamas Shark. It doesn't need extreme materials, so use this negation ability. It's a perfect opportunity to start playing this deck. It's quite fun. There is minor consistency issues, but every deck has consistency issues to be fair, due to the Upstart Goblin going to hand to 1. But you can make it a little bit more turbo if you want, maybe add into the Void or 1 day apiece, something like that, if you want to focus on having Treatoad ×2 turn 1, which it can do quite consistently essentially. But there are hands where you draw something like full back row and an Aqua Spirit. That can be painful as hell, but that doesn't happen that commonly. So I'll be doing a deck profile on this, and then we'll have the replays at the end of the video, which are quite nice, but I just didn't get a chance to actually put them up. So without further ado, let's go into deck profile. We have 777 coloured fish. This is our normal target for rescue rabbits, normal target for unexpected die. It's quite a good card, it's a nice fish. Essentially, it's a target for double fin shark while it's in the graveyard, and it's an 800 beat stick. You can't really say more about this, it's just a vanilla. You don't really want to draw into this unless you have Tin Goldfish or Silent Angler, then that's quite good. Or Bugman if you have nothing else other than this, and spell traps, which is decent enough as well. Then we have 1 Aqua Spirit. Sometimes this is a little bricky. Originally it was at 2, but I took it down to 1 because it was bricking a little bit too much. Drawing 2 of them with nothing else is very painful. So I bumped it down 1. It's a nice card. It gives you possibilities for the Bahamas Shark ×2, Treatoad ×2, turn 1 combo. So it's good, but it's not always best. It's better for late game or if you have a good setup in your opening hand. Then we have 1 double fin shark for later on in the game when a 7 coloured fish or a silent angler has gone to the graveyard. You can use double fin shark and go into an instant rank 4 play, which is nice, but it's not at max in here because there's not very many good fish in the game that are rank 4, or level 4 I should say. Then we have triple Tin Goldfish, a very good card for this deck. It basically special summons level 4 from your hand. It's a Goblin Debug. It's just not searchable very effectively in this deck. So that's the only difficulty. If Goblinberg was a water, we would have run that over this, to be fair. Well, actually, I run that over these two. Then we have triple Silent Angler, the only shark support that's really that good, to be fair. It's quite good in the fact that you can go into it instant rank 4 if you have another monster in hand. All these are waters except from Rescue Rabbit. It has, yeah, Rescue Rabbit. And that's going to get waters anyway, so this is always live as long as it's drawn with a monster, which is decent enough. It has a restriction to stop you special summon from the hand for the rest of the turn, which can conflict with Aqua Spirit, but it doesn't come up that much because Aqua Spirit's at 1. So it's a great card, but we've been waiting for this in the TCG for 3 years now, and it's getting a bit ridiculous, which is a shame. Very much a shame. Hopefully we get it by the time we get Treatoad. Then we have triple elemental hero Bubbleman. This is a bit more techy on my part. He's a great level 4 war monster essentially. He's better than most of the level 4 war monsters you can do for special summoning. So why not run him in the deck? If you draw this with another monster and some back row, that's an instant rank 4 Bahamas Shark summon, including if it's an instant fusion, because that's double with 2 more back row, so that can be always great. You can search it, but I haven't put anything supporting the search. You can do if you want to, if you want to have that more focus on Bubbleman, and maybe even Mass Change 2nd to get access to Acid, but the extra deck is quite tight. And then 1 Rescue Rabbit to basically go into an instant rank 4, which is great. Rescue Rabbit plus Rescue Rabbit plus instant fusion is always a Bahamas Shark ×2, Treatoad ×2, unless you draw the 2 normal monsters with it, honestly, which would be a bit of an annoyance. Then we have the spell cards. We have triple unexpected die, especially summon 7 coloured fish from the deck, go into an instant rank 4 as long as you have another monster in hand. It's a very good card for the deck. Then we have triple instant fusion to go into that double Treatoad, which is very easy to do. And in a worst case scenario, if we have no graveyard, we basically summon out a rare fish and then go into a normal rank 4 summon, which should be all fine. Then we have one Regeki for Monarchs. We have triple Portal Cupidity to try and get a draw engine in here. We have Upstack Goblin at 1. This is now the best way of increasing consistency in the deck. Plus it can get rid of something like Rescue Rabbit or 7-colored fish if you happen to banish them, which could be nice. You don't want to draw into those after your turn 1, particularly when Rescue Rabbit is being used or you've drawn enough 7-colored fish. Where it banishes off this while another 7-colored fish got banished as well. Then we have one Soul Charge to recover our game states. It's a shame we can't reborn Treatoad, but it has to be successfully summoned to gain that effect. But nevertheless, it's a great card and it can get me access to my Northern and go for rank 4 play, or only for the payment of 1000 life points, which is basically another instant fusion. Then we have one Upstack Goblin, just draw for a 9-card deck is better. 2 salvages. Originally it was Exceedra Moray, and I really just dropped it. I didn't like the card and I wasn't gonna bring it out commonly, so I thought put a second salvage in here, try and get some more recovery options for the deck, which is decent enough. Then we have 2 Twin Twister for Monarchs. Then onto the traps we have 2 Storming Miraphors to protect our Treatoad from being destroyed by battle, because destruction by battle is one of the bad things of Treatoad. It's 2200, it's not like 2400, 2600. It can easily be beaten down in this meta format that we are playing in. Then one Exceed Reborn, I was going to say more of them. Exceed Reborn, basically reborn by Hammershark when I've used 2 of them, well, both of them, and gets me an instant summon of Treatoad, which is great. It's basically a reborn of Treatoad. Then we have one Bottomless Trap Hole. Originally I had Revelty in here, but I've dropped her since then. But I've kept the Bottomless for now. You can replace it with anything else you want, maybe another Mirror Force or an Endless Trap Hole, something like that. It's just to basically stop my opponent on their summon, to try and get away the problematic things that Treatoad have to face. Then we have one Starlight Road to protect our Treatoad from Regeki, essentially, so we don't have to waste it on the protection of Regeki. Protection from Regeki, essentially, which is nice, and it can summon that Status Dragon as well, so that's an extra protection. Then 3 strikes and 1 warning for the nice back row to basically defend the Treatoad. Onto the extra deck, we have 1 Utopia Future for Cosmo, triple Treatoad. I see some people playing 2 and some people playing 3. I prefer 3 because 1 is like guaranteed to recover one of your effect monsters from your graveyard to your hand, like Tin Goldfish or Style Angler, and then the other 2 can just be put back into the extra deck continuously to make sure you have the resources you need to keep summoning out the Treatoads. Then we have on for our rank 4s, 1 Abyss Dweller to power up all of our water monsters by 500 attack, and it's great against Burning Abyss and all that kind. 1 Castell to shuffle things back into the deck. 1 1-on-1, this is like the first time I've played 1-on-1 for quite some time, mainly because 1-on-1's kind of been moved out. It's no longer as effective as it once was. Plus, it's an aqua type, so it's a target for Treatoad sent to the graveyard. And it's still decent, it's just it won't commonly come up. And it can be defendable too, so it's got its pluses. Then we have 1 Utopia and 1 Utopia the Lightning. This is to run over Cosmo. I don't commonly use this because I'm a UK player and we don't have access to this in the UK TCG. But in this deck we had room, so we might as well put it in. Then we have 1 Hope Woven Spider Shark, which is a great defense, reduces all the attack of the opponent's monsters by 1000 when they attack, and when it's destroyed by the card effect, you can reborn something from your graveyard, which can be very nice indeed. Then 2 Bahamut Shark originally was free, but I had to bump it down to put in Stardust Dragon. Sometimes I want this at 3, sometimes I want it for 2. Bahamut Shark essentially detach the material, summon Treatoad from the extra deck. That's it. You can't attack with this card for the rest of the turn though. So maybe beat down your opponent monster and then go for Treatoad if they have no back row. If they have back row, probably go for the Treatoad first. Then we have 1 Stardust Dragon for Starlight Road, 1 Rare Fish as a level 4 you can easily summon, and then 1 Northern to reborn something, go for into rank 4. So that is the deck, and I will go on to the replays. The first replay is against Crystons, featuring Brilliant Fusion and Guiding Ariadne. So he gets a set of Fryston, destroy the Guiding Ariadne, get a search for Counter Trap, summon Amatrix as defense, and Tattoo back row. I don't know why he didn't go for Brilliant Fusion instantly, but I don't think he didn't have much to go off with. He negates my Tin Goldfish and I set a nice bountiful back row. He hits my Exceed Reborns. I believe he hits both of them, yes, which is very painful, and summons out Trick Clan. Fryston gets a search, Brilliant Fusion tries to activate, but I flip my Vanities, and then he just goes into a weird phase where he basically doesn't want to attack me for several turns. I don't know why he doesn't do this, why he doesn't just try and beat me down, because if he did, I wouldn't have any out to this. But he may have thought Drowning Mirror Force, it may be a Demise variant, something of that caliber, so he probably went defensive like that. But he eventually realizes that maybe you might as well attack now and try and get out that Vantage Emptiness, or he was waiting for the right support. So he goes for Prey, I flip my Strike and stop Prey from doing stuff for the rest of the turn. I don't know why he summoned this in defense mode, but it doesn't really matter. So I top deck Polycubity, go for Tin Goldfish, and he strikes it, which is painful for me, to be fair. But I summon Arctic Spirit, special summon Silent Angler, go for my Treatoad, Instant Fusion, go for Norden, summon Silent Angler, overlay for Hammer Shark, special summon Treatoad, overlay for Utopic Future as a defense, Soul Charge Norden, special summon out the Silent Angler, I believe I go for Castell, yes, to flip back the Amatrix. If he had had that face up, he could have gone for Phoenixion overall, but they were just got negated because of Treatoads, so it's not too bad. He goes for Amatrix again, I strike it since it's not synchro summoned, he doesn't gain any effect, and he goes for Soul Charge, I negate that as well, and summon it on my field, which is a very nice thing that Treatoad can do. So it returns itself back to the graveyard since it went to the graveyard. And he summons two defensive monsters, essentially, to wall it out. I flip summon the Seven Goldfish, and he knows his game then. Because there's just going to be a stealing of his monster in defense, and then I can just run over him quite effectively. He probably should have scooped before the Seven Goldfish actually dropped, because I believe that's probably game. Oh, very close to it. 1500, yeah, that was game anyway. His next card was Solemn Warning, which would have been painful for him. I had 4 cards left in my deck at this point. I completely forgot about that. I had Endless Trap Hole. I originally had more Trap Holes in the deck. I took them out for Mirror Forces. On to the second replay. The second replay is against Atlantean Gishki. Not something I've ever gone against before, to be fair. So I start with my Instant Fusion to summon out my Rare Fish, normal summon my Angler, overlay for Hammer Shark, summon Treatoad, set 2, unfortunately giving him a lot of draws. I don't know what I'm playing against, but I had to do that, and have some defense. So he goes for Zeal Gigas and runs over Treatoad, which is a very good play. Treatoad puts itself back in the extra deck. I believe I was only running 2 at that point. And then he goes for Moregri, revealing that he's playing Atlanteans with this, gets some really powerful searching going off. Norden lives on the board, Atlantean Dragoons, number 101, which ignites the effect of Atlantean Dragoons, Gishki, all the Gishkis, and gets another Zeal Gigas summon, gets another draw. He's very unlucky on his adding of Gishkis, which is a shame, but he ends his board with number 81. I lure out his negation with Regeki and get my Hammer Shark in the graveyard. XYZ Reborn, summon it back out, summon that Treatoad. Reborn 2 monsters, go for another Hammer Shark, special summon another Treatoad, overlay for Utopic Future. Now I have a defense, which is nice enough. He goes for Aquaspirit to try and bait some things out. Gishki Abyss goes off. He runs over one of the Treatoads and just puts himself back in the extra deck. And he tries to run over Utopic Future. I don't know why he even bothers doing that, but maybe he hasn't gone against Utopic Future before. He tries to do 1-for-1. I have to negate this because that could be very dangerous. He goes for his Gishki things again, getting another summon of Zeal Gigas, and he didn't get another Gishki again, so that's painful for him. I switch my Utopia to the attack. He tries to protect his Zeal Gigas, but Treatoad negates that and summons it on my board. Nice 4k defense. So then I can now steal Zeal Gigas and I can do a lot of damage. I set my strike to have a nice defense. He flips down a Regeki, killing the Exceed monster, summoning out his Netivus next, gets his Megalo on the board, which was very surprised. Well, tries to get the Megalo on the board, and I was quite surprised with that. He goes for heavy infantry, tries to get rid of it. Gigas goes for the final lucky draw, and he gets a Deep Sea Diva. Not something you want to see in that position, because if he had drawn Gishki, he would have shuffled this back, and I wouldn't have had an out for it. And he had Twin Twister next, so he wasn't getting Gishki again. My next one wasn't expected to die, that was kind of dead at this point. But Exceed Reborn again, could have just reborn this if he had actually destroyed it through card effect. So that's the plus you can get from Exceed Reborn. It's quite a nice card. Definitely like using in the deck. On to the final replay. And the final replay is against Lightsworn Shiranui, and technically an upcoming deck. It's a nice deck, to be fair. So I start with my Bahamut Shark Treatoad turn 1 with 3 back row, which is nice, at least. He goes for his charge, goes and gets that Shiranui formation, trying to lure out Treatoad. He goes for Sage. I negate this because then he can't use Sage for the rest of the turn. He goes for Instant Fusion. I have to negate that, and I get my own. I get the Instant Fusion back to me, which is pretty nice. I get my Tin Goldfish. He gets the remaining back row, and he goes for a Synchro Summon of Saffron Omega and runs over Bahamut Shark. He is now in control, which is a bit of an issue. He goes for Omega to summon out, get his Mizuki back in there. Omega tags out and hits my only target, but thankfully I've got Aqua Spirit, so that's all fine. I go for the Waving Spider Shark and Bahamut Shark to have a nice defense. I summon out the Treatoad to have another defense on my board. So I have a protection against Omega trying to beat me over. He goes for Mizuki to summon out Shiranui Sage. I have to negate this because it's Shiranui Sage. Treatoad puts itself back in the extra deck. Omega tags out. He goes for Reincarnation to summon out Unizombie. He then sends Mizuki to the graveyard, reborns Sage, and overlays for Scarlight, inflicting 1000 damage to me, but I can't remember why he can't attack because of Unizombie's effect. I top deck Bubble Man, which he really was annoyed about. I top deck then a Pokeability, then a Regeki, and I've also got a Strike and a Dead card, which was amazing. Very amazing. This is why I run Bubble Man in the deck. He gets this Burial, which is a nice one-off. I have to go for a warning here because if I don't, then I'd be in an issue. He goes for Unizombie and sends a Mizuki to the graveyard to reborn Sage. Goes for another Omega. He still has control of the board. I top deck a Storming Mirror Force. He puts both of his Mizukis back in the graveyard. I expected Die to lure out his hit essentially, and I get Silicon Fish, which is alright. He tries to beat over my monster by storming him, and now I have control. He goes for his Unizombie, sends the Spectral Soul out, he runs out Mizuki's at this point. Zombie Master summons out the Unizombie, summons another Omega. Omega just gets spammed continuously in this duel. He returns Mizuki to the graveyard. He tags out my monster and then I Castell him, which is for game because he has no other defense. If he had like Rise to Full Eye at that point, he could have used that to protect himself from being beaten over, but not every player runs this, which is a bit of a shame because I absolutely adore the card. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile and replays. Please like, subscribe if you enjoyed this and want to see further content. Please leave your comments below suggestions for my deck or suggestions for my channel in general. If you want to see any specific decks put on the channel, please let me know down below. If you want to see what I'm streaming, the link to my Facebook page is in the description below. Thank you for watching. Matarant signing out.